What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like, share and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Ring a ding a ling ding that notification bell. What have we got today? Idiots. Idiots in Hollywood. They're everywhere. Hollywood is not full of demigods and superstars as you might think. It is full of absolute imbeciles. People who pretend for a living, that think that they are above everyone else, think that they are more intelligent than everyone else, and think that they should tell everyone else how to live their lives. And then you get interviews like this where nuggets like Jennifer Lawrence appear and say stupid things. I want to give a shout out to Bounding Into Comics because they write some really, really good stuff on Hollywood. Take a look at their website. You can find them on Instagram and they're on Twitter as well. John F. Trent and all the gang, and Jacob Smith for writing this article. Thank you very much. Here we go, let's get into it. Jennifer Lawrence has been at it again. While she's not blaming the current world climate crisis and hurricanes and shit like that on Donald Trump, she's saying other stupid shit while she's being interviewed. So let's get into this article. Film fans roast Jennifer Lawrence as she was roasted like a peanut on Twitter after she falsely claims Hollywood has never put women in the lead of action films before the Hunger Games came out. Have you ever watched a film, Jennifer? Have you ever been to the movies? Have you ever looked at a back catalogue? Did you know that there were actually movies made prior to your birth? And you are not the only woman in Hollywood. Jennifer Lawrence is known for her migraine-inducing moronic hot takes as well as a few Hunger Games movies, but her recent comments about female-led action franchises may have been her dumbest to date, which is saying a lot. And there she is, there as a nice blue alien with a spotty face. Now then, the Hunger Games actress took a short break from acting over the last few years to save democracy. Lawrence is back with a vengeance with some statements that are driving cinema fans up the wall. Lawrence recently did a sit-down interview with Viola Davis, star of The Woman King, or The Women King as Jennifer Lawrence called it. It's a film that blatantly whitewashes the real-life history of the West African kingdom of Dahomey. One of the most prominent slave-trading states of their era, and attempts to lionize them as anti-colonial heroes who fought against enslavement and oppression. And apparently that was not the case. If you actually look up in the history books, find out what was actually going on at that time in that part of Africa, it was horrific. I won't go into too much detail, but it's not what it says on the tin. Viola Davis is pretty much full of crap. Oh, and you're an istonophobe if you don't go and see the movie. Don't forget. And according to History vs. Hollywood, the Dahomey warriors conducted slave raids on villages with accounts detailing that they chopped people's heads off of elderly people, ripped jawbones off others during the raids, burnt the villages to the ground. Anyone who's left alive was taken captive and they were sold to slave traders. Not the way that some people would have you believe. But according to Jennifer Lawrence, because it's black female representation, The Woman King is the best movie of 2022. Possibly the best movie that was ever made. I think it's probably the first movie ever to be made. I think. It's the first one to have women in. Again. I think that Woman King is the best movie that I have... I think that The Woman King is the best movie that I have seen this yearest. Hands down. And the bestest ever movie that I have seen in such a long, long time. Mrs. Lawrence stated, Everest in the whole of ever. It's great. It's so refreshing. So womany. Oh dear. That comment wasn't the dumbest thing that Lawrence said in the interview. While she was discussing The Women King and the Hunger Games franchise, Lawrence made the blatantly false claim that Hollywood had never ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie before 2012. Like, what are you on? Well, what are you not on? I think you're off your meds. It says, this isn't a bit. In other words, this is not a stand-up act. It sounds like one. I just despair. Look at it. I'll tell you what it is, right, look, Jennifer. I've said it and I'll say it again. I've said it before. You're just a bunch of court jesters. Just get on with what you do. Pretend to be someone else for a bit and shut your mouth. Take your millions of dollars. Take them home to your 97-bedroom castle and just shut up till your next job comes in. You don't see plumbers and carpenters and engineers and soldiers whining about how much they got paid and how many times there's no women and how many times there's no men in the things that they do. They just get on with it because they're real people. You're just a figment of your own imagination. That's what you are. Just go and pretend, tell us a story, and that's all you need to do. We'll give you our money. In fact, we'll give you our money just to shut you up. No women in Hollywood ever took the lead role, right? There's a list as long as your arm. I'll get to it in a minute. I'm sorry. She makes me angry. So Lawrence, who earlier this year she claimed to be a victim of sexism because she was paid $5 million less. She got $25 fucking million for a Netflix film. $25 million. $25 million to tell us a story, and it wasn't even that good. It was pretty good. It was an okay movie. Leonardo DiCaprio knocked it out of the park. Leonardo DiCaprio has been acting longer than you've been alive. He's one of the most established actors in Hollywood. He's good at what he does. But you can't just rock up and say, oh, well, I've only got $25 million. Fuck me. So, the Netflix film, Don't Look Up, right? She told Viola Davis, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie because it wouldn't work. We were told girls and boys can both identify with male lead, but boys cannot identify with a female lead. I don't identify, really. When I was a kid, I wasn't looking for representation and identification and all that crap. I just saw a hero I saw escapism on the screen, and I saw hope, and I lived in a horrible, shitty environment when I was a child. It wasn't great, but I got through it. And I got through it by watching movies, and I watched people struggle the way I did and overcome shit and get on with it. And then they see their situation through until the end and come out triumphant. That's called a story arc, alright? Putting people in a lead movie and making them super at everything, that's not a story arc, because that's what we get 95% of the time now in movies with your strong female leads. That people think nowadays that everybody hates female leads. We don't. We hate shit scripts and shit characters. And if you're going to try and shoehorn politics into your movies, you're going to end up with a big pile of shit. Simple. One of the first movies I ever saw as a kid, I was about 5 or 6 years old, and it was The Wizard of Oz. And it was Judy Garland taking the lead role as Dorothy, right? She was the hero. She overcame everything. She rescued the Tin Man, the Straw Man, the Lion, gave him courage and hope and heart and brains. She braved against the fucking wizard who was terrifying. Ultimately turned out to be a little man, a coward behind the curtain. She lost her home, her house, her family. She was attacked by flying monkeys, man. Flying monkeys and a witch. It's like nightmare fuel. And you're telling me there's no strong female actors before whenever the Hunger Games came out. The novel came out in 2012 and then the movies followed suit. You're talking absolute cack. No female leads. You can't identify. Yeah, I did identify with Dorothy because she was going through that struggle, trying to find a family, trying to find love, trying to find friendship. And you do all of that when you're a kid. Friends come and go. You get bullied, you get picked on. You have hardships, you have good times and bad times. And that's what The Wizard of Oz was for me. Further down the line, there was Galen Ross, who played Francine in Dawn of the Dead, one of my all-time favourite movies. And she was one of the reasons why it was such a great movie. Spoiler alert, she was one of the only two that survived at the end. She learned how to fly a fucking helicopter just in case shit went fucking to the fan. And it did. She jumped in the chopper and fucked off with her mate. Unbelievable, man. You're talking shite. What about Natalie Portman in Leon? She was 12-year-old. She was great. Saw her mother and father executed by Gary Oldman. And then Leon comes along. She teaches him a thing or two. She ends up teaching him how to live. Anyway, she continued. It just makes me so happy every single time I see a movie come out that just blows through every single one of those beliefs and proves that it's just a lie to keep certain people out of movies. To keep certain people in the same positions that they've always been in. It's just amazing to watch it happen and watch you at the helm. The claim that Hollywood didn't have action films with female leads before Katniss Everdeen is so absurd. Only someone who knows nothing about movie history would pretend it is true. When Lawrence's comments made its way into film Twitter, she was bombarded with replies of people pointing out decades worth of female lead action films. It isn't hard to do, is it really? It's just not hard to do. Go on YouTube, go on Google, go on the internet, ask a friend. Anyway, she was bombarded with replies of people pointing out decades worth of female lead action films and the difference between female action leads of the past, right? From way back from 1939, Jenny, Wizard of Oz, up until about 2016 when the shit really hit the fan. The difference was good writing and strong writing and clever story arcs and sticking to what can only be described as rules and regulations of folklore and folk tales and how stories are structured. Look it up, Jenny, or any of you guys out there. Look it up. Look up European folklore. How do you think Lucas came up with Star Wars? Because he studied European folklore and how it's structured and what characters you have to have in it and what sort of beats and tropes and themes go along with it to make a good story, a cohesive story that people will connect with and will be engaged by. Okay? Not some vapid, soulless, I can do everything, I'm better than men and men are shit that we get nowadays in every single strong female lead. Unless you're Emily Blunt. Hats off to Emily for standing up against the bullshit. Anyway, we'll have a quick look at some of these tweets. Twitter user Stephen Simmons brutally debunked Lawrence's notion in a series of tweets, named some female leads. Let's have a look. Exactly. Aliens, Terminator 1 and 2, Sarah Connor, Long Kiss Goodnight, Gina Davis, Resident Evil, what the fuck's she called? The Jojovic chick, can't remember. La Femme Nikita, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, the Underworld franchise with Kate Beckinsale, Charlie's Angels 1 and 2, the proper Charlie's Angels, Tomb Raider 1 and 2, V for Vendetta with Natalie Portman, J.I. Jane, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Michelle Yeoh, and all the other girls that was in that. Cutthroat Island with Gina Davis, Salt. The list's endless. He didn't stop there. Continued with Columbiana, Haywire with Gina Carano, God bless you. Hannah, Run Lola Run. The Fifth Element again with Mila Jovovich. Who? Mila from Lilo from Fifth Element. Serenity was fucking class. All the Alien movies, Alien Predator, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Descent, absolutely class. It's all women. It's all ladies. Horror movie by Neil Marshall, who did Doomsday, Dog Soldiers, Centurion. The Cinema Soothsayer also debunked Lawrence's narrative with a list of actresses who are best known for their roles in action franchises. Sigourney Weaver, obviously, everybody is going to cite Sigourney Weaver. She is the queen of queens. You've got Jane Fonda, Gina Davis, Angelina Jolie, Mila Jovovich, Kate Beckinsale, Charlize Theron. But don't forget Judy Garland, the one that kicked it all off. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, Codenomics tweeted, "Nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie. Tell me more about how you have never seen a movie that was made before you became an actor." Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, seriously. Then he names a few more. Carrie Fisher, Christ. Carrie Fisher was the one that carried Star Wars. The one that dragged those other 2 or 3. Luke, Han and Chewie just dragged them about. Like, come on, into the garbage chute, flyboy, you pair of knobs.
Into the garbage chute, flyboy.
Who's rescuing me here? I'm rescuing myself. Because you're incompetent. But was never malicious about it. She was just amazing. Jamie Lee Curtis, man, getting attacked by a man with a William Shatner mask on for about 25 movies. Linda Hamilton. Shall I continue? No, don't continue. You lot in Hollywood just really need to take a step back now, because people are starting to suss out what you really are.
Talking of all you perverts,
you're a bunch of planks for the most part. You're good at what you do, I'll give you that. You entertain us for the most part, but sometimes you come out with the most stupid shit you could possibly think in your head, thinking that you're going to change people's lives and tell people how to live their lives while you're sitting in your fucking 92 bedroom mansion.
You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world.
Looking down your nose at people getting paid 25 million for telling a story. Fucking hell, man.
Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg.
Think I'm in the wrong job? I'll round it off with Norm Blum. People like Jennifer Lawrence can't make do with being a gigantic Oscar-winning star.
Come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off.
She has to feel like she did something no one else ever did before, and by golly, she will invent something like that if it's the last thing she does. I hope it is the last thing she does. Stupid woman. Goes on and on and on. It is a really good read. You should check out Bounding Into Comics because they do produce a lot of good content. Fool! What do you think of Hollywood, everybody? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Jennifer Lawrence's claims. Do you think they are unfounded, or do you think there's some truth in the fact that she says she's the only woman that's ever been in a lead role? No, I think she's a lunatic. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.